think the thing I get asked most about is differentiation. So let's jump into it. Differentiation and bridges. So bridges attempts to find ways to reach all students and match each student's level of mathematical readiness and performance to the skills we are required to teach. California state law says you cannot dumb down their education. You must teach at their grade level. So now let's look at ways to do that. So let's talk about how to differentiate. Use workplaces sentence frames. Inside the workplaces, you will find sentence starters for each of the workplace games. And they will include some of, like what I've listed here as an example, where the sentence is started for them and then they complete the sentence. These are great ways to help your English language learners. There's also small group learning centers where there are pre-assessments that can determine the groups that are needed. So you can pre-assess and then put your students together in groups that make sense. All right, here's some ideas that I came up with. I found this online, 20 provocations for math class. So these are just some different ideas of ways to differentiate a lesson. Maybe photos, use of artifacts, videos, maps, manipulatives. Bridges has a ton of manipulatives, so you can use any of your manipulatives that you can imagine could apply to different lessons. If something's not working and you can think of a better way, go for it. Probing questions, news articles, and statements. So, this is a variety of ways to differentiate your lessons. All right. Let's talk learning centers, because I think this is one of the other things that I get asked a whole bunch about is how do I do learning centers? What are these math rotation small group things you're talking about? Let's take a look. Okay, I made an example for you, like this is a rotation, what it could possibly look like. So let's say that, I really only had the 1 hour to teach a whole bunch of different kind of math concepts. I only wanted to do like 15 minutes each, and I've got 3 different groups, and this is how I worked it for those 3 groups. I'm going to give you some more examples in another video that's going to be more specific, but just right now, this is just to give you a quick idea of how a rotation could work. And what I would advise is that you make a graphic representation just like I made here that you could put up in your classroom so that your students have it to look at. And here's one that I made, like, wow, this is like huge. It's got 4 different groups, and this is more common. This is what I used in my classroom because I could schedule 15-minute rotations. The other one that I just showed you was 20-minute rotations. Here, let me get out of the way so you can see the whole thing. All right, so you can see that you've got 4 stations. Stations are what? They're the locations in your classroom, and you have 4 groups. And every 15 minutes, like I've got on this slide that you're going to get a copy of, there's a timer for 15 minutes. So you can set that timer. It plays when the timer says time's up. Everybody gets up and rotates to the next station. And in an hour's time, you will have moved your class through 4 different stations, 4 different activities, and the activities can vary. So we'll take a look at that in more depth in another video.